Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series on Pulitzer Prize winners. Today, we're diving into the life and work of a true giant of American literature, a man whose name is almost synonymous with poetry itself, Robert Frost. Now, when you think of Robert Frost, what comes to mind? Probably snowy woods, stone walls, and winding country roads, right? He's the quintessential poet of New England, capturing its rugged beauty and the quiet wisdom of its people. But here's a fun fact to start us off. Robert Frost wasn't actually born in New England. He was born way over on the other side of the country, in San Francisco, California. In 1874, it was only after his father's death when he was 11 that his family moved to Massachusetts, setting the stage for his deep connection with the region that would define his life and his poetry. Frost's early years as a poet were anything but easy. He worked a series of jobs, from teaching to cobbling to editing a small newspaper. He even tried his hand at farming in New Hampshire, a period that would deeply influence his work. He was writing poetry this whole time, but finding an audience in America proved difficult. The literary scene at the time didn't quite know what to make of his direct, colloquial style. His poems didn't sound like the flowery, formal verse that was popular. They sounded like real people talking. Frustrated with the lack of recognition, Frost made a bold move in 1912. He sold the farm, packed up his family, and moved to England. It was a huge gamble, but it paid off spectacularly. Within a year, he published his first collection, A Boy's Will, followed quickly by North of Boston. These books were a sensation in London, praised for their authentic American voice. Suddenly, Robert Frost, the unknown farmer poet from New Hampshire, was a literary star. In England, when Frost returned to the United States in 1915, he came back a success. He had left as an unknown, and returned as one of the most celebrated poets of his time. This is a powerful lesson in perseverance, isn't it? Believing in your own voice even when others don't, and sometimes needing to find the right place and the right time for your work to be truly seen. From that point on, Frost's career was a story of continuous acclaim. He became a beloved public figure, the kind of poet that even people who didn't typically read poetry knew and admired. He taught at several colleges, including Amherst and Harvard, becoming a mentor to generations of young writers. He was a master of the spoken word, and his public readings were legendary. He had a way of reading his poems that brought out all their hidden layers of meaning, their humor, and their profound sadness. And of course, there were the prizes. Robert Frost won the Pulitzer Prize for poetry not once, not twice, but an incredible 4 times. He won for New Hampshire in 1924, collected poems in 1931, a further range in 1937, and a witness tree in 1943. This is a record that has only been matched by one other poet, Eugene O'Neill, in drama. So, what is it about Frost's poetry that resonates so deeply with so many people? On the surface, his poems are simple. They talk about everyday things, mending a fence, picking apples, walking in the woods. He used the language of ordinary conversation, making his work incredibly accessible. You don't need a PhD in literature to understand a poem like The Pasture, where he invites the reader to come along with him to clean the spring. It's a simple, gentle invitation. But just beneath that simple surface, Frost's poems are layered with complexity and ambiguity. Let's take one of his most famous, The Road Not Taken. It's often misinterpreted as a celebration of individualism, of bravely choosing the path less traveled, but a closer look reveals a more complicated story. The speaker admits that the two roads were really about the same, and that he'll be telling his story with a sigh ages and ages hence. Is it a sigh of satisfaction or regret? Frost leaves it up to us to decide. He forces us to think, to question our own choices and the stories we tell ourselves about them. This is the magic of Robert Frost. He presents us with a familiar, pastoral scene, and then quietly introduces a profound philosophical question. Think about mending wall. 2 neighbors meet to repair the stone wall between their properties. One neighbor questions the need for it, saying something there is that doesn't love a wall. The other simply repeats the old saying, good fences make good neighbors. The poem isn't just about a wall. It's about tradition, community, isolation, and the barriers we build between ourselves. It's a conversation that is as relevant today as it was 100 years ago. Or consider the haunting beauty of stopping by woods on a snowy evening. The simple scene of a traveler pausing to watch the snow fall becomes a meditation on duty, desire, and mortality. The final lines, "But I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep," are some of the most quoted in all of English literature. They capture that universal human feeling of being torn between the desire for rest and beauty, and the pull of life's obligations. Despite his public persona as a wise, grandfatherly figure, Frost's life was marked by immense personal tragedy. He outlived 4 of his 6 children. His wife, Eleanor, suffered from depression and died of a heart attack. His son, Carroll, took his own life. This undercurrent of darkness and grief is woven throughout his poetry. It's there in the bleakness of poems like Acquainted with the Night or the raw despair of Home Burial. He understood that rural life wasn't just idyllic and charming. It could also be isolating, difficult, and filled with sorrow. His poetry doesn't shy away from this darkness. It confronts it, explores it, and finds a rugged, resilient kind of beauty within it. By the end of his life, Robert Frost was more than just a poet. He was an American institution. In 1961, at the age of 86, he was invited to read a poem at the inauguration of President John F. Kennedy. It was a landmark moment, a symbol of the nation's respect for one of its greatest artists. Though the glare of the sun prevented him from reading his prepared poem, he instead recited the gift outright from memory, a powerful performance that captivated the nation. Robert Frost passed away in 1963, leaving behind a body of work that continues to be read, studied, and loved around the world. He showed us that poetry doesn't have to be distant or difficult. It can be found in the rhythm of a conversation, the changing of the seasons, the fork in a path. He took the simple, the everyday, the rural landscape of New England, and turned it into a canvas for exploring the deepest questions of the human experience. His legacy is not just in the 4 Pulitzer Prizes or the countless accolades. It's in the way his words have become a part of our shared culture. He gave us a language to talk about choices, about boundaries, about the promises we keep. He invited us into his world of woods and walls, and in doing so, he helped us to better understand our own. He remains, without a doubt, a monumental figure, a poet for all seasons and for all time. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of Robert Frost. Who's another Pulitzer winner you'd love to see us cover? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next episode. See you next time.